Here on a Thursday night, Hull 20, Huddersfield 6 is the half-time score. And the Black and Whites, they have made the playoffs in 10 of the last 13 years. They got to the grand final, of course, 2006, and lost to St Helens. And in that first half, they showed glimpses of the form that could take them into the playoffs again in 2014.
Well, Eddie, we mentioned that there'd have to be plenty said by the coach, Paul Anderson, but if they need any motivation whatsoever, they only have to look the Giants at the front of their jersey. It is a photo of the team of all talents, the 1914 side that won all 4 cups that particular year, led by one of the all-time greats, Harold Wagstaff. Let's hope that they can do and turn it all around, but they're going to have to dig deep.
Yes, we allowed Steve-O to make that announcement because he's the only one who actually saw that team of all talents in action.
I was on the bench.
Well, I think, Eddie, to defend this team, which does have some talent, we'd have to say that the fact they've only had 3 full days to rest and recover from the last game, to me, seemed visibly the difference. At times, players who in the past would make an extra effort to find a defensive tackle weren't getting back and making those in the first half. And maybe as the game went on, they did spark up, but they looked flat in that first 20 minutes. And I think it was the lack of rest from the previous cup game.
Well, Lee Ratford will be furious about that. It was a good opener. They were getting good ground forward. All they needed was a good kick, and they've come up with the error. Good run there from Jason Chan. They need it. Remember, the mistakes that came fast and furious in the first half for the Giants. It looks as though it's going to be set in for the home side. Yes,
I don't think Josh Bowden was meant to be the recipient of that pass. He maybe should have just been the dummy runner. He came off his shoulder, hence the reason why the Huddersfield Giants have this opportunity. Oh, but they had it for a brief moment, and Luke Robinson had the ball pinched from him. Pinched right out of his arms by opposite number Jacob Miller.
That was amazing. Trying to throw the dummy. Well, then did that. Was that classified as a knock-on?
No, it was a pinch. It was a ball steal, one-on-one.
It's hit the ground.
I think it's ruled that it went backwards. I think that's why he's let play go on.
Well, that looks a knock-on for me. He's dragged it away from Robinson. They've been lucky to get away with it.
Takes something special, doesn't it, Eddie? Sorry, that for a halfback to be able to pinch a ball one-on-one. Clinch, brace, I've seen them do it on many, many occasions, and maybe Hull have found that halfback they've been looking for a long while.
And there he is, Jacob Miller. He just laid back and put the ball into the air. Danny Brough was watching it all the way, but he elected in the end to leave it to Jody Broughton to deal with, and here comes Ukuma Tai again. So Huddersfield having to start from deep inside their own half in this latest attack. Let's go down to the sideline. Graham Beecroft with all the half-time news.
Yes, well, not too much from the Huddersfield dressing room. It wouldn't be at all surprising if they just said we need a big improvement. But certainly as far as Hull are concerned, they want to carry on where they finished in the first half. More intensity in defence is demanded, but they want to keep up the completion rate, which they calculated as 19 out of 20 in that first period, Eddie.
Fantastic kick from Danny Brough again, his second 40-20 of this match, and Huddersfield will get head and feed at this scrum.
He's the type of player that can turn a game. He was non-existent in the opening 25-30 minutes, but he's slowly but surely at the end of that first half, and he'll be really buoyed by that.
Second 40-20 for Huddersfield. My mistake, first was by Luke Robinson, second by that man Danny Brough.
Those numbers that Graham Beecroft mentioned are very important. Hull have kicked and chased very, very well. Their completion rate is right up there. But for me, I think they really needed to put Huddersfield to bed in the closing stages of that first half. A couple of soft sets, and they didn't turn over on their account. You know, the Giants are desperate. You don't really want to give them too many opportunities to get back into this game.
Well, here is an opportunity because Jacob Miller was too slow getting off the grounded man. Look at that lead drive there from Michael Lawrence. Look where they are at the start of this set of 6. With Brough to Robinson, and short ball then to Ukuma Tai. Wild flick out the back from Ukuma Tai, and Gareth Ellis picked that, rather Richard Whiting picked that up like apples off the tree.
Well, you didn't have to do that. Tai, why didn't they just had a penalty, and they give the opposition possession? That's sheer panic.
Frustration showing on the face of the Huddersfield Giants coach, Paul Anderson.
Sometimes you've got to go back to basics, and I'm afraid the Giants are trying to be too smart too early.
Good tackle that by Aaron Murphy. His 50th appearance for the Giants tonight. It was on Kirk Yeaman. Miller then tips the ball into the arms of Westerman. He gives it a bit of width and finds Bowden. And Bowden is clawed to the ground just inside his own half. This is the last tackle here coming up. And Rankin gives it to Herremeyer, and Herremeyer hacks it downfield, and Griggs is underneath it. Chorus of boos every time Scott Griggs gets the ball after that first half incident.
Well, it might also be to do with an incident that just happened when he tackled Richard Whiting in the far corner, and Whiting felt as though Griggs was twisting the arm back dangerously. So he isn't very popular with the home supporters, but he needs to get popular with his team here. You'd say he's perhaps responsible for 10 of the points that Hull have scored so far, and I've no doubt he wants to get involved here and claim some back for his team.
This is Crabtree. Really would love to see Earl Crabtree hitting the ball at full pace and bouncing his way through the would-be defenders.
The Giants have got to get some better end to the sets. Luke Robinson's had one stolen. Akuma Tai threw one on the floor. They've got to convert some of this field position and ball into pressure.
Great run this from Murphy. Tremendous run. He couldn't get the ball away. He might not have to.
He should have had support though, Eddie. He was looking, he spun round twice, it's on the last.
Well, McGilvery was there, that's a short ball, and Hull will muscle up in defence and hold them up on the line. McGilvery was there for the pass out wide, but Murphy went for broke on his own. It's the turnover right on the Hull goal line now. Huddersfield have to try and turn the screw.
Discipline, that's what's needed by the Giants, and they know that. Cannot afford to give away a silly penalty. Get him down, get off him, don't hang around. That's what Chan was doing.
Liam Colborne, who has arrived here at the KC Stadium, having played with London last year, began at Wigan, then of course went across to the old enemy, Hull Kingston Rovers. Ellis trying to poke his nose through the defensive line. Not a bad gain for the black and whites there with that set of 6. They turn the ball over in the Huddersfield quarter. And you know every time Griggs gets it now.
Well, I'm not so sure that was a good idea to pass the ball to Broughton. Jody he wasn't looking. Oh, great defence there from Ellis.
Oh, and he said that's one-on-one. Well, Stuart, that is contentious, isn't it?
Well, it looked very close. He's a lot closer than we are at the moment. But, that's why he's given the decision.
Brough wasn't terribly impressed. Well,
he was very close.
It was very close. Hull won't be disputing it if they get over here with Yeaman.
Good tackle there by Murphy. Had to go very, very low.
Talanoa to Miller, and here is Westerman. Westerman with a short pass to Thompson.
Hull don't have to panic like the Giants have been. They've got a good lead. Just take it steady.
Rankin to Ellis.
Get the kick. Into the in-goal area, perhaps. Or to the corner.
This is the last tackle. There's the kick, measured towards the goal line. Who's after it? Hull! And I think Miller has come up with the 4 points. He has. It's not referred upstairs. He ran from an onside position, climbed above the Huddersfield defence, clutched the ball out of the air, and touchdown did Jacob Miller. Well, he sat out the opening 6 rounds of Super League. This is his 3rd appearance in a row. Try against Salford here 2 weeks ago, and a try here tonight.
Here's the steal there from Gareth Ellis. Danny Brough not happy with it. And Brough, I'm afraid, is having a bit of a tick-off here while we see the replay. I said before the game he's got to concentrate on doing it right and making sure he's a team player, but he's mouthing off to the official. It was a great kick. It was a great take by Miller.
Yes, it was. Miller celebrates the try. And Danny Brough, as Steve O'Reilly said during the course of our replay of that try, he was called out by the match official, Richard Silverwood, obviously feeling that justice wasn't done in that ball steal. And, well, they will feel the officials are very much against them at the moment, will the Giants, but they have to put what happened last week to the back of their mind, what's just happened here to the back of their mind. Too much mouth, and I'm afraid Lee Radford's men are winning by 20 points.
Well, you know, on that point, this is a fantastic kick and a dedicated chase, and you come up with the spoils. Hull FC are forcing the issue there and making it work in their favour. You know, the decision there and the argument with Danny Brough and the officials, for me, it's not whether Gareth Ellis had stole the ball legitimately or someone puts a finger on. What on earth is Danny Brough doing on play 2, running the ball in off his own try line? I'll tell you why, because Scott Griggs had ran a play down the short side and put his team in an awful position. You don't want your best player carrying the ball at someone like Gareth Ellis.
Yeah, I think the barracking that Scott Griggs is getting from this crowd here tonight, it's really getting to him. He gets the ball and he shuttles it away as quickly as possible.
Well, it's often related to the 19th man, isn't it? The crowd, and the vociferous here, I can assure you.
Yes, they are. They don't take any prisoners. This is Bowden, right on halfway. Plays the ball to Houghton. And Miller, that's charged down. Oh, not played at, says the referee. That's interesting. Little chip over the top here from Rankin. Well watched by Craig Kopchak.
Good job as well. But the prop forward, Kopchak, realised that. It wasn't the best kick. Lee Radford, the coach, will not be happy with that. When you're leading by such a convincing margin, 20 points, they can control the game. They don't have to fight. They know that the Giants have got to force the pass. They've got to try force something now.
Kumatai again. The Tongan international took the ball forward. And here is Antonio Kaufusi. He's his fellow countryman. Gets to his feet, plays the ball. Wood finds Robinson. Robinson then to Griggs, and he's brought down by Yeaman.
Now, Yeaman may have lost a little bit of pace in what he had a few years ago, but I tell you what, he makes up for it for his wonderful defence. His positional play is great. Great tag. On a big game, this fullback.
Yes, he is. He's fearless. Lawrence looks as though he'd come back from an offside position. That's a great offload by Talanoa. Here is Shaw again.
Another couple of drives, that's all they need. Talk about taking that under pressure. You really got walloped. Ellis, he knows. Just calm things down. Control.
He's had a huge game, Mike, hasn't he, Gareth Ellis? He makes impact in every time he's in the frame, whether in offence and defence. Just does his job, and it always adds that little bit of extra too.
Houghton dummy half. Gareth Carvel trundles it forward, keeps the legs going. Does Gareth. Back after 6 out, played the ball. Up it goes again off the boot of Miller. Another measured kick. Attempt to here, and it bounces off Whiting. Free play here for Scott Griggs. Free play, but couldn't get the ball away, spun to the ground.
Well, it's becoming horrific, isn't it, for Huddersfield coach Paul Anderson. Even on that play, he realises not one of his players went for that ball. One of the Hull players that spilt it, but they got there first.
I think Huddersfield have experienced that this season. How everyone will lift the game now. Playing against last year's league leaders. It's a fantastic effort from Hull here today. I said before, they've had a little bit more rest and preparation for this match, but they've clearly got up for this contest. To play against the team who beat them in the last 5 minutes on this ground last season and go on to claim the league leaders trophy. I think it's a significant game here. After what has happened to Hull so far this season and the way they were defeated in the Challenge Cup, it was essential that they performed here tonight. Lots of personnel changes, which Paul Cullen spoke about before the game. The coach selected a side and they had to play well, which they clearly have here for almost an hour.
Yes, they're going well, the black and whites, and Huddersfield looking down the barrels of a 4th straight defeat, including last week's cup tie. It's you're right, Phil, it's the fact that all the clubs will lift because they've got the league leaders in town from last year. And I hate to use the phrase, but second season syndrome, perhaps. Maybe they've watched all the DVDs and they know what to expect these days.
Well, I agree with you there, Eddie, and we spoke with Paul at half-time. Perhaps teams have worked out the strengths and weaknesses of the Huddersfield Giants, but without Leroy Cudjoe, Brett Ferris and Lan Patrick, who you remember was pretty impressive. Round 1, we started Super League by watching the Giants beat Wigan at the DW Stadium and beat them very well. It was a convincing performance that night. but there's certainly nowhere like that side at present.
No, there's some notable absentees. Ferris, of course, suspended, Cudjoe, Patrick and David Fayumu. Tomorrow, Castleford Saints. Castleford second, Saints top of the First Utility Super League, and they meet head-on at 7:30 on Sky Sports 1, and on Saturday in the afternoon, 2:25, Sky Sports 3, the Dragons against the Vikings, live from Perpignan.
I think we've been a little bit harsh on this Hull FC side, because quite frankly they've controlled this game. Okay, the Giants came up with a few errors early in the game that gave them off to a flying start, but the ability of this black and white side to control two halfbacks, you know, especially Jacob Miller, they're getting the kicking game sorted out. Their defence has been very solid throughout.
Solid hit there from Gareth Carvell, and they're flying out of the defensive line, the black and whites. So not giving Huddersfield an inch to breathe. Wood to Brough. Brough then to Robinson. Robinson goes wide. That's tremendous tackling in defence from Kirk Yeaman. There was no way forward for Aaron Murphy then. We've reached the last tackle. Brough will have to hurry the kick. They were after him. He gets it in between Shaw and the winger on the other side, Liam Colbon.
Eddie, you're right. That was a great collective defensive effort then from Hull FC. Movement to an edge, and did they back off and invite anyone to run at them? No, they didn't. They held their ground. In fact, moved forward and took the fight to the Giants.
It's been a very good team effort for the home side. That has been so impressive, and I'm sure that Lee Ratford will be pleased with the response after they lost in the Challenge Cup, of course.
If you were Lee Radford, mate, you wouldn't know whether to laugh or cry, because the way they played tonight, had they played like this, they're still last week, they're in the next round of the Cup and probably a little bit higher up the league table. They're showing how capable they are of being a top 14.
That's a great run from Mickey Paya, and Houghton gives it then to Miller. Miller gets the ball away to Whiting. There was an ambush waiting for him in the shape of Wardle. So that was an awful play of the ball, and that has to be a penalty to Huddersfield.
Yeah, you've got to regain your feet before you can play it. I'm afraid he tried to play it while he's halfway on the ground. Is he not allowed to do that? Well spotted by Richard Silverwood, who I must say, we haven't noticed him, and that's always a good sign as far as I'm concerned, is the merry whistleblowers.
Oh, Danny Brough's noticed him.
Yeah, well, we said before the game started that he can be put off his game, Danny Brough. Got to concentrate on his side, not the official.
Gafusi to his feet, plays it to Wood. Robinson, short ball away. No way through for Jason Chan. He gets up to his feet, plays it to Robinson. Here is Lawrence now. Oof. Hard hits, goes into your mouth, doesn't it, when you see legs coming up in the tackle these days?
I must say, Jason Chan, he's really worked hard. He's been one of the few stars on this Giants outfit tonight.
So has Yeaman defensively. He's been superb.
Yep.
Last tackle here for the Giants coming up.
Need something different. They've got to test their arm. Little dribble, maybe a chip over the top.
Well, there's the dribble through from Brough. The ball seemed to stand almost still there, and it was a good job that Colbon reacted first.
To be fair, I think Colbon told Jamie Shaw, it's mine. And that also has been the difference between the two sides. One side is talking to each other, the others, they look lost.
Great set for me defensively from Hull FC. Had all the numbers covered. The Giants never looked like they had him in any trouble whatsoever. And when you've gone through the majority of your set, you've got to defend your kick. Well, you're right, the triangle was back there. The full-back, the half-back, the winger, all coming back across and all getting themselves around the ball.
Westerman takes it forward again for Hull. It's 4 tackles gone. Shaw with another good run. Last tackle coming up here then for the black and whites.
It's an unusual tactic, isn't it? But Lee Ratford utilises it quite a lot. Jamie Shaw, he'll go into the dummy half position. He's got the speed.
Griggs is halted. I just wonder, Paul Cullen, you mentioned, what was it, 42 different half-back combinations since Horn and company. Have they found the key to something here tonight?
Well, I think they've found something that they can work on. They've had him on the field a couple of times.
Here's Jason Chan. Jason Chan. Shaw stands up to him, brings him down. Quick play, the ball needed. Oh, it's a knock-on. A knock-on from Jason Chan, and all that good work is ruined.
Well, pats all round for Jamie Shaw, the whole full-back. Great run by the back rower. Power through some tackles, looked for some support, but it didn't come to him. And eventually, as he gets through Westerman, he looks at the full-back, thinks he'll go over the top of him. But no, Shaw pulls him to ground, and he shows he can play both sides of the game. He can play when this team have the ball and when they don't.
Well, that's maybe his first mistake of the night, Jason Chan, because he's been probably Huddersfield's best. Sorry, Paul, you were interrupted by him.
Yeah, and
about the halfback.
The halfbacks, yeah, you look like you've got a steady situation where you can now build on something. I know Horn is out injured at the minute. You might just want to keep it where it is and start to build on this process. And Eddie, just to go back on that tackle technique there from Jamie Shaw, it was a case of just get in the way, wasn't it, and cling on. That's bravery on a rugby league field.
We're approaching the hour mark, and it's Hulls to lose. 26-6 they lead.
Keep it quick, Giants.
Ellis will take it forward.
Another great drive from the skipper. Alton's been around too long to realise that they don't need to do anything fancy.
So is this fellow, Gareth Carvel, but that is fancy.
Dearie me.
A great offload as it turned out. Houghton picked up the pieces.
It hit the deck. I'm not so sure that Lee Rafu would have been happy with that, but they're in a good position.
And here he goes again, Gareth Carvel. Oh, and he does it again. Well, it wasn't a fluke, the first one, that's for sure. That's just to prove it wasn't. This is Ellis.
Up in the air.
Last one here for the black and whites. Miller booming pass wide to Yeaman. Yeaman stabs it through. Oh, and a chance and a try for Dean Hadley. He picked their pockets on their own line. Dean Hadley with the try. The man who's come through the academy ranks. Only 21 years of age. And on the team sheet for the last three, he actually played in the last two, not used against Widnes here. He's been out at loan at York and Doncaster over the past couple of years. He's grabbing his chance in Super League 2014. First try ever for the black and whites from Dean Hadley.
It's all about any sport. Sometimes you want it better than the opposition. And that's what he did. Scott Griggs knew he was in a good position for it. It was a beautiful long pass out there from Miller. Then the kick through. Griggs should have had it, and it just popped up for Hadley to get it first. And boy, is he excited.
And so he should be. Dean Hadley. And it's not been a night that Scott Griggs, the Irish international, will want to remember in a hurry for all sorts of reasons. So, Whiting now. How's he doing with the kicking so far, Whiting? He's kicked a 3 from 5. And he's missed with that one. So that's 3 from 6, 50%. But Hull with the game well and truly in their back pocket, 30 points to 6.
I'd just like to pick up on something that Mike said earlier on. This is about paying credit to Hull FC and the way they've gone about the business, as opposed to picking holes in the Huddersfield Giants, who are simply out of sorts at this moment in time. It won't last forever. As a coach, you've got to do it tough sometimes, and so have your players, and they've got to work hard and find out a way how to get back to that winning formula that served them so well last year. But Hull FC have forced the issues. But they're pressurising these situations, and they're pressurising the Giants into making so many mistakes.
Well, Hull have just come up with a mistake of their own here, because the kickoff was allowed to bounce and scoot its way through, and it bounced high over the head of Carvel. He tried to stop it going out. He just about failed, and then foot on the line from Miller. That means that ball is out, and so it's a goal line dropout.
It's a great restart, isn't it? He almost shoots, doesn't he, to get the ball over the back line. Pulled it off last week in the cup, Danny, but not every time can you shoot the ball 60 metres and beat the guys who are stood on the line trying to save the ball. He's done it twice in 2 weeks. It's just a pity it won't really get counted for anything.
When you think the opening weekend of the season, that before Super League got started, we saw Huddersfield go to Wigan and win easily. It's a shadow of the team that played that night.
Yeah, they've lost the confidence, Eddie, and you know, you're supposed to look at certain players that are very influential. You know, to me, Sean Lunt is not back to full fitness. We haven't seen the spark from him. We've seen it from his opposite number, though, Danny Houghton. He's had a wow of a game. But that confidence has just completely gone.
Well, can they restore some of it in the remaining 17 minutes or so here? The Huddersfield Giants, not like that. They dropped the ball again. Must be about the third or fourth time that they have dropped the ball. And Whiting and Brough, it's been simmering all night.
Yep. Well, the Giants have come up with 8 handling errors, and that cannot give you any confidence whatsoever. Not surprisingly, a little bit of frustration coming into it. Like Gareth Carvel, just I didn't know the Kiwis, the Maori. It was like rubbing noses, wasn't it? I think.
The referee will take a report from his touch judges. But it's frustrating, isn't it? That they are frustrated, the Giants.
Yeah, and you could see there that Danny Brough got confronted by Richard Whiting, so he decided to throw a punch.
Do you think Whiting felt that he was kicked here as he clears the play here and gets away from it? Because there's no other reason why he would get up and follow him.
That's the thing that he's reacted to. Is he feels he's been kicked by Danny Brough on the ground, and that's what has caused that.
And do you think Stewart is kicked?
He certainly pushed back at him as he's getting up, and I think he knows what he's doing. And that's what he's reacted to.
He's going to the back pocket, is Richard Silverwood. And Danny Brough gets 10 minutes in the sin bin. Well, the Man of Steel 2013 is out of sorts, is annoyed, is frustrated. And he gets 10 minutes in the bin as well, Richard Whiting, because the scrap, you can't have a fight with one fellow on your own.
Too true, and he knows he was hanging on to the leg of Danny Brough. He can shake his head all he wants, but he was the one that went chasing. If he'd stood his ground, he would have been fine. Well, the Man of Steel has got a bit rusty, hasn't he?
So Hull get the penalty, Hull get the possession. And this is Mickey Payer.
Yeah, it's had a big game. And that's been the difference as well, you know. The 2 prop forwards, Payer and Carvel, they've really put themselves about.
Miller, good ball. Tewson.
You can smell more points coming, and so can the crowd.
Houghton to Westerman.
Look for the fullback, Jamie Shaw.
There he is, Shaw. Gets away from the first one, can't get away from the second one. Yes, he can. He just shrugs Sean Lunt off, and eventually Kopczak gets him down. Here's another penalty for the Black and Whites.
That was well worked by the fullback. He may be not an old stage of Jamie Shaw, but he knew what he was doing there. Kept wriggling, kept going, convinced the man with the whistle, and this should be try time.
Carvel puts his head down, goes for the line. They hold him up a metre short. Houghton gives the ball into Westerman. Oh, and a fiddle. And Jamie Shaw it was who came up with the mistake. It's a free play still, this. It's a free play. He hangs on, does Aaron Murphy, under pressure from Talanoa.
Yeah, just couldn't get it. Put under a lot of pressure. Such a talent, though, and we've seen a lot of that from Jamie Shaw tonight.
Lunt.
Does anybody want to go and follow him? That's play on. That's it, the whole player.
Colburn has it.
The knock on. Hidden feed for the Giants.
It's one of those instances, this, where the ball is on its way out of the opposition hands with the pass. There, and the hand from Colburn comes in, touches it, so it's a knock on.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Coleman gets the fingertips to it. Now, it's important. Just less than 15 minutes remaining, and I'm referring now to the Giants. We've been talking about the lack of confidence throughout. You know, this is where they've just got to muscle up and say, well, you know, we're still a good side. Let's try to get some points on the board.
Here's Chan.
course, it's the opposite for Lee Radford. He'll have got the message out. I want those 6 points to stay there.
I don't know whether you've been noticing the shots we've had of the Hull coaches, Lee Radford and his two assistants either side of him. You think they were 30 points to 6 down, looking at the faces, rather than 30 points to 6 up. This is McGilvray, who's danced away from a couple and keeps going. Got away from Carvel, puts the kick in. Well, it was inventive. It was one-man stuff and Shaw to the rescue.
Well, that's as certainly a good idea on the third tackle.
I don't think Luke Robinson did either, just in the back of play then, screaming like a banshee. He just wanted someone to set up the play so he could possibly execute something that the Giants have been working on, I'm sure, all week. Very difficult for Huddersfield, actually, when they're getting good ball, to come up with something. I mean, Danny Brough is their main organiser, and they've not been able to do it with him on the field. How on earth are they going to do it without him?
Yeah, he's still in the sin bin with Richard Whiting for the dust-up they had a few minutes ago. Westerman gets it away to Miller. This is Rankin. Rankin gets it wide again to Colbon. He applied the brakes to Colbon, then cuts inside. And Danny Brough just trying to keep him mobile for the last few minutes when he comes back on. 13 to go here. Jody Broughton now for the Giants.
The best kick there by Jacob Miller. Okay, at 30 points to 6, you can think Miller got a fair amount of latitude, but it really needed to be punched into the corner. It was a bit of a lackadaisical effort.
Michael Lawrence, he was loose forward in the last two. Chris Bailey and him have been swapping positions. They have tonight. And Bailey, of course, took the heavy knock in the opening moments of the match here this evening. This is Robinson. Just a little kick down the line. Well watched by Talanoa, that. Murphy was chasing the loose ball. Talanoa saw to it. It wasn't going to get to him. Here goes young Jamie again.
It's a great display by the home side in regards to their defensive effort. They really have muscled up. That's a big hit. He did well to hang on to that. Dear me.
Kaufusi hit Tucson then. And Tucson must wonder where the double-decker bus had come from. Pair into centre field. Hatley again with another useful run. Oh, look at that. Houghton gets the ball away from dummy half. Here's Westerman again.
They shared the workload as well of the whole side tonight.
Warming up nicely, aren't they, for next Thursday's big local derby in this city of Kingston upon Hull against Hull KR. Match, of course, that you will be able to see with us next Thursday, 7:30 Sky Sports 1, Hull KR Hull. And Good Friday looks like this. Saints Wigan, of course, at midday. Sky Sports 1 again, followed swiftly by Warrington against Widnes from 2:30 on Sky Sports 1. And to wrap the Easter weekend up, we're in Perpignan on Easter Monday afternoon, 4:45, Sky Sports 2 for Catalan against Hull Kingston Rovers.
I think the fixture format has fallen very kindly for Hull, and I bet Lee Radford's delighted. Next Thursday will be their third week in a row they've played on a Thursday. Then they, of course, to get 1 day longer rest before they play their second Easter game on a Monday. So they're certainly getting nice even breaks to help them to rest and recover and put forward a sort of big performance, because I suppose the 2 games over Easter very often, Eddie, can change the complexion of the league table and the highs hopes that the fans of every team has.
And you have to take your hats off to the whole management here, because they saw that the cup tie was looming last weekend against Salford, and they elected to play the game on the Thursday night to give themselves a little bit extra time.
Do you think that gave them an unfair advantage though, Eddie, when comparison? I mean, had it been selected as a TV game, it could have been on a Sunday. It's almost, I'm not so sure that the fairness there really to allow them to play on a Thursday. As we see another error here now from Luke Robinson.
Well, they played within the rules, and you've got to be smart these days.
And this fixture has been in the calendar since last November.
Yeah, but the most important thing, I suppose, when you look at finances, is that a convincing win tonight will make sure that there'll be a bumper crowd at Easter.
They will. The Hull Kingston Rovers will benefit as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, but in the town of Hull, or should I say the city?
Yes. Oh, they'll be buzzing next Thursday, there's no doubt about that. Be a full house at Hull KR when the black and whites come to town. Full house at Saints against Wigan. Big crowd, Warrington witness. And Easter Monday is always a special day in the south of France. So it'll be a great weekend for Easter. And Hull can look forward to it with some confidence. Huddersfield will lick their wounds and regroup, and they will hopefully come back.
What a game this fella has had. A lot of people thought that he was finished, you know, Gareth Carvel. But he has worked overtime.
Here's Miller again, short ball. Oh, he got the pass away, did Chris Chewson, but only as far as Jermaine McGilvray in the white jersey of the Giants.
I think it was just an ankle tap here by Yeaman that just prevented him getting away. Look at that. They've never allowed this big fella, Earl Crabtree, to get any momentum at all. And who's at the bottom of it? Gareth Carvel.
Looping pass into the arms of Broughton. Trying to use his strength to come back off the touchline. This is Wardle. Well, they're not raising the white flag, Huddersfield. They're keeping it going. But it's a forlorn hope now. And that from Griggs was played at, I think. It's back to 0 in the tackle count. The kick from Griggs was played at by the black and whites.
Boy, he got hammered. Talanoa just got the shoulder fair and square into him. Watch him when he gets for the ball here.
Rattled off Yeaman's legs. That's why Huddersfield have this extra set of 6. They're halfway through it.
The Giants have been trying to work out a way to try and get McGilvray and Broughton into the game at some point. Two very, very fast and powerful and athletic wingers, and they just simply haven't done it enough. They've not had enough ball, enough field position to muster any real quality in attack. But if you do get the ball to wingers like that, they can cause you problems. They can score tries, they can get you on the outside. They just haven't had enough to do it all night.
Yeah, a bit of handbags in back play. Sean Lunt mixed up there. Neat little chip over.
Colbone to ground.
Did well.
Just managed to stay in the field of play somehow. Broughton trying to push him over the whitewash. Shaw could see all the big fellas coming at him. Took it forward bravely.
Well, that's good defence from Huddersfield, but it's a little bit late in the party, isn't it? Where was it when they needed it early in the game?
He's had a decent game, hasn't he, Joe Westerman? Hasn't been too flashy. Not usually his, you know, his offloading, his half-back game that we see sometimes from him as a loose forward. He's gone about his business, took some tough carries and worked very hard in defence.
Well, that could be dodgy for Shaw. Got really tangled up with Josh Johnson, the legs and knees buckled.
I think he might have just got away with it. Another great kick. Been impressed by Jacob Miller as well for Hull. It's been, he mentioned the fact that it's been a very, very good team effort. But look at that, Carvel. I think that's his 20th tackle from the prop forward, Gareth Carvel.
Was he one of those players who came from Bradford? He started the season, didn't he? I bet the Bull supporters are disappointed he's not playing to help their chances this year, but he isn't, and he's certainly looking forward to the clash against Hull Kingston Rovers next Thursday.
Yes, he will. He's here in the KC Stadium with the Black and Whites of Hull for the second time in his career, Gareth Carvel. They wanted him at Bradford, but when Bradford hit all their problems, went into administration, Gareth became a free agent. Kick over the top from Robinson. Shaw is there, none the worse for that experience a few moments ago where the legs went underneath the tackle player. 5 minutes to go. It's Hull's night. The league leaders 2013 could be outside the top 8 at the end of this weekend. Thompson will take it forward.
They'll probably look towards it. Paul Anderson will say, well, you know, you can't give away 3 silly errors early in the game, which allowed the Hull FC side to take control of this match. But quite frankly, they've just been battered out of it.
Well, they have.
The whole defence has been outstanding.
Those early errors, though, they really did take the wind out of the Giants' sails, didn't they?
if you lose the ball 3 times in your own half, your opponents would do pretty well to score 3 tries from them, which is what Hull did. I thought they were clinical, didn't they? The chances converted to tries has been superb for Lee Radford's team. And I think all the Huddersfield supporters and their team can do now is start to think about 2 possible winnable games over Easter, Salford and the Wildcats. Teams in the bottom half of the table will be sides that the Giants need to beat if they want to see themselves in the top half at the end of the year.
Kyle Wood goes down. It'll be interesting, wanted to see how Salford progress under Justin Harris, and with the new name that Dr. Marwan Kukash is threatening to bring in, one of the biggest names in the game, apparently worldwide, if Brian Noble decides not to take the director of football role. And word has it that Steve-O's called a press conference tomorrow for 6 o'clock to announce the appointment.
I'm not allowed to say anything, Eddie.
But you're not coming to Castleford, you're telling us.
I'm not allowed to say anything. Mum is the word.
This is Jamie Shaw now. Gareth Carvell comes off the field to a deserved round of applause.
He's worked his socks off, and fully deserved. And
good run from Whiting. This fella never lets them down either.
No, he's underrated, and look at the expression on Carvell's face. I think I've done my coach proud. You certainly have.
Well, the leg drive drill seems to be working at Hull FC, doesn't it? Because every one of them is stepping into collision, powering through, then driving after contact. And you know, it's no coincidence that 5 or 6 players are all using the same methods.
But when we've seen this almost for 80 minutes now, does that not have to be an indication of the fatigue and the lack of recovery for the Huddersfield side? Because if we watch them play 10 times, I don't see Hull's players making that many metres after collision in the next 9 games as they have tonight.
It's got to be a factor, Phil, hasn't it? It has, you know, the way you plan your week, and you can't overly control it, whether you've got a 7-week cycle or a 7-day cycle or a 3 or 4 day cycle. You've got to leave enough left in the tank to try and start a game well, and in those circumstances start it well and hang on in there, and they've just not been able to do it tonight.
No, it's a stuttering start for the league leaders of 2013, this. And tonight's result has done nothing to help their cause. Hull, on the other hand, will march across the city on Thursday next week, and they will believe they can give Hull Kingston Rovers a real shake. We shall see.
It's always a great game. Derby match between the red and white against the black and white. But the confidence that they will gain tonight, the home outfit, is enormous. And I know that Lee Radford is well aware of that. He made it quite clear before the kick-off that he told his players, this is the moment. This is the time when we lay down the gauntlet and say, we are a good side. Obviously, Paul Anderson wanted exactly the same. He has not received it, mainly due to the fact that Hull's defence has been outstanding.
Chase here for a high kick from Robinson, claimed very nicely, thank you, by Fatuli Talanoa.
You learn some hard lessons as a coach, and me for one was that Easter is a 4-game programme. The one running into it, the 2 games over the Easter period, and then whatever you've got left coming on the other side of it. And Hull FC couldn't, after last week, have done anything better than the way they've done about the business tonight. This is an emphatic victory against the side that's out of sorts, but Hull FC have played a major part in disturbing whatever plan Huddersfield had and literally knocked them out this game.
Doesn't look 100% pleased, Lee Radford, does he? But 30 points to 6, I bet inside he's glowing. We have 25 seconds of the game remaining. Huddersfield will be glad to get home and get a week of proper preparation into them for next weekend's matches over the Easter programme.
Well, the hardest thing for Paul Anderson to do to the side is to try to get back that confidence that they displayed all last season.
Talanoa just take the tackle from Aaron Murphy, and that will do. Comprehensive victory. They were gifted a perfect start. The